Well, it's raining today. Our grass is starting to look greener. Everything looks good. Nice gentle rain out here. Yeah. Nice. Oh, okay. So, this is the calcite. Spent 2 full days in medium. Let's see what we've got here. There's no tripod outside, so forgive me. Ooh, look at that. That is thick and foamy. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Oof, getting soaked. Okay. Look at how thick that runs. Okay. Ooh. Alright. I'm going to go rinse these off real quick. I don't want to take my camera out into the rain, so I have to go to where the hose is, and I will be right back. Alrighty. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that white spot I was hoping would burnish off didn't. Wow. These are really all that's left. It's like hardly anything. It's really worn away, but these are, good grief, that's like nothing. Look how tiny that is now. Yep, these are definitely ready for the 500 grit pre-polish. So aluminum oxide, I don't know, AO, something like that. Alright, I'm going to, look at how tiny some of these, that could have been that one that chipped off. And we threw it in here to have different size stones. To clean that really good. So I'm going to put these back in a wash cycle for an hour, and then I'm going to move them to 500 grit. This did not break like I thought it was going to. That divot that's in there. Nor did this one. Alright, it's really starting to pour, so I'm going inside. I'll see you later. Okay. So we separated out the rock from the ceramic media because I'm going to leave this particular media here. I'm going to keep it segregated and I'm going to use it for coarse and medium. But when I move on to pre-polish and polish, I want different ceramic media so that it doesn't cross-contaminate any grit in case we miss any. So I'm going to put new ceramic media in here, and then I'm going to put a little bit of draft, and I'm going to put it in a wash cycle, and then when we come back we'll be ready for 500 grit. Just wanted to show you what we had left. Yeah. Okay. And we'll see you shortly. Okay, it's been a couple of hours and we're ready to take this and clean it. This is our calcite. It's gone through the coarse, a wash, a medium, and this is the second wash cycle after the medium. So let's just deal with this. Whew. Nice. Oh, I cannot tell you how nice it feels when it first comes out of a wash cycle. It is so bloody smooth. Okay, I'm going to go rinse these and then I will be right back. Alright, we are back from washing our calcite. It has gone through medium for 2 days and it's gone through its wash cycle for a couple of hours, and now we're doing an inspection to see if it's really ready to go on to pre-polish 500 grit. This one is so smooth. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely perfect. Drying them off a little so I can see them better. This still hasn't broken. We're going to leave it. This is just the natural way this stone was made. So you can already see we're getting a little bit of a matte shine here. Kind of an oxymoron in terms. That's really cool. All right, there's really, I mean, there's no bruising, there's no cracks, there's no pitting, there's nothing to keep this from moving forward other than this here, and we've cleaned it, and there's just a little spot right there that might just be the stone and not trapped soap. It's the stone, so that can move forward. It's not going to have anything to contaminate. Okay, let's look at this one. Wow, it just feels so smooth. There's nothing wrong with that. So now these shouldn't be losing any more mass. They should just be getting smoother and smoother. This has a tiny, almost imperceptible, doing the fingernail test here to see. It's just a little bit. I think that's going to be fine. We can move it forward. What I was feeling there was just a divot in the stone. I don't know if you can see it flashing. Oh my gosh, that's really cool how it's flashing. I don't know if you can see that with this lighting. So I've been doing a little research and to find out which actual polish is going to be best. And for aluminum oxide is pretty good for most things. This has got a spot that I can't send forward. So I think I'm going to go with tin oxide because that's better for softer stones. And again, this is a MOHS hardness 3. Teeny tiny little piece. So with the MOHS hardness 3, I kind of want a polish that's going to really give this the best run for its money, and so I think I'm going to do it through tin oxide. I don't want to use the dry polish method with the corn cob. It gives it a satin sheen, and I want this to look more like whetstone. So I'm going to experiment, and I'm going to see if the tin oxide actually works. Worst thing that can happen is it doesn't give us the result we want. So experiment away. Okay. I don't know how exciting this is for you, but for me, this is one of the absolute joys of to look at all these beautiful stones. Oh, this is just really cool. See, there's a bit of a rough spot. I don't want to send that forward. This piece turned out so tiny. I mean, look at that. I still have the pieces. That's a big difference. That is a big difference. This was the original Orange Calcite rough, and all the calcites were roughly the play on words, were roughly the same size. This is how much mass was lost because I used too much grit. But I know for next time, you'll use half the amount of grit in the coarse stage so we don't lose them. Okay, so those are still good. This one, I don't know what's going on with this poor rock. It looks like it's going to fracture, but you can't, well, there, right there you can. This just doesn't look, I don't know, man. I really don't want to move this forward. I don't want that to, see these fracture lines, I don't want it to split. And then it'll have sharp, jagged edges, and it will bruise and make pits and do terrible things to the rest of the stones. So I think I'm going to throw this in a pile to run with coarse again and see if it breaks up further, because if it's going to break up, I'd rather do it in the coarse stage than in the polish stage, in the fine stage. So wow, I mean, this looks really great. And then you roll it over and you're like, what the devil is that? Is that going to chip off? I feel nothing. There is nothing. I don't know if that's going to chip off or not. So do I hold it back or do I send it forward? This looks more stable than this. That fracture line goes all the way through. This one goes all the way around that tip. I don't know if I can send that forward. This is my maybe. I'll have to make up my mind. Okay. Wow, that's a really nice stone. Now, when I move this, it looks like the surface is still rough, but it's smooth as butter. Smooth as butter, but it's an optical illusion. I love optical illusions. Teensy tiny little piece of calcite, a blue calcite, or yeah, blue calcite. It must have broken off of another piece, but holy crap, that was tiny. I'd hate to think we lost that much mass. Yeah, this one's good. Seems like the orange and the green held up their size better than the blue. And I have some honey calcite, and I have a couple pieces of orange calcite still. You know, that I keep showing as examples. So the next time I run a barrel with calcite in it, I'm gonna definitely adjust the recipe so it has the correct amount of grit per cycle. And I'm gonna start it with ceramic media. Isn't that cool? Yeah, to keep it cushioned. The reason I'm drying these off, I mean, we really are supposed to keep them wet, but I'm drying them off so that I can see the imperfections better, because the water can hide them. Like this one feels a little rough on that corner. Everything else is perfect on it, but just this one little corner, so I'm going to hold it back. So as you can see, every cycle you have less and less stone moving forward. Now, that doesn't mean you're not using the other stones. It just means you're putting them in, holding them back in the same stage, or you might even be taking them backwards a stage. This, again, has that weird, that's moving forward because there's nothing to feel there. It's not going to break off. I keep doing this off camera. I do apologize. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. I'm very disappointed on how thin these green pieces ended up. I mean, my goodness, there's like nothing there. There is nothing there. I mean, like, seriously. when it starts out like that and it ends up like this, I don't know, just curious. Oh, no way is this one going. I can feel that already. There's a big divot right in here, like a little valley. And it just feels like trouble. I'm gonna keep that one out. Oh my goodness, look how thin that one is. It's kind of, I love the banding in it though. It's really kind of cool. Hope it doesn't break. Okay. That feels good. Just a couple more pieces in here. A lot of flash on that. It feels so buttery smooth. Can't wait till it comes out of polish. It's an itty bitty one. That was a chip off something. We're going to throw that in there for size differences. This one, I don't know. I don't like that. That's going to be held back. A lot of this is going to go through medium for a couple more days. And I have a new 33B unit that just showed up from Lortone, and I'm gonna use that for repair barrels. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else in there. This is what we've ended up with. Hardly anything. It's half a barrel, because we kept taking stones out and taking stones out. So let's put our freshly washed ceramic media, small and medium, back in here. Look at how much, we've got a lot to put in. Some people would say it's not worth moving forward and would set these stones aside and yeah, it's about 2/3. It's about 2/3. Okay. They would hold it aside for a fuller batch, but I have enough ceramic media that I think we're going to be fine. And besides, I'm too anxious to wait. So this is pre-polish or 500 grit aluminum oxide. And we only want about 1.5 tablespoons to move forward. And this is going to run for about 2 days. And then we're going to check it and then do another wash and then move it to a super fine pre-polish at 1,000 grit. Because I really want to do everything that I can to make these stones shiny like water. So, speaking of water, it's kind of interesting the way that just beads up on there. Okay. That's all the water we want to put in there. Put our nice sparkly clean lid on. Oh. And I just want to dry it off a wee bit. Okay. Try to dry it off in between. So. Okay. I labeled the bottom of this So we've, today's date, 8/4, 500 aluminum oxide, pre-polish, and this is calcite. So in 2 days, we are going to check it. And it should be ready to move on to the next stage. So I'm going to clean up here. I'm going to put these extra stones that didn't make it in a barrel for a future calcite run. Okay, see you in 2 days. Hi, it's been 2 days since we put our calcite into pre-polish stage of 500 grit. So now let's remove our label from the barrel. These have gotten a quick rinse, and now we need to put them in a wash cycle so we can get all the grit off of it. So let's take a look at what's going on. Right off, I notice there's a huge chip that happened here. Remember last week we said, or a couple days ago, we said, well, let's let it go and see what happens. Yeah, this is what happened. That nice big chunk came out. So that gets set aside. That's going to have to go back through coarse to smooth that out. This stone is nice. It's ready to go. Not feeling any pits on this. This one's got a little chip, a little bruising on it. Okay, I'm going to go through and I'm going to check all these over very carefully. I'm going to put them through a wash cycle, which you've already seen. And then when we come back from the wash cycle, we're going to move on to the next stage of polish. And we could either go with a polish or we could go with another pre-polish, and I think that's what I'm going to do because I want the possibility of getting these as smooth as possible. So we're going to use 1,000 grit aluminum oxide. Yeah, see, I'm feeling, I don't know, can you see that little bit of stone? Things like that happen, and it just ruins your stones when they go into polish. So we just want to make sure we get all of those out of here. We want to rinse the grit one more time, and then we'll put it all back into another barrel. Boy, this is just almost looking like a guitar pick. Boy, remember when these started out and they were that size? Yeah, they're just grinding away to nothing. This has got a bruise on it. Look at this little tiny chip here. And here's the one that came off this broken stone. So that came right out of there. So let's set all that aside. These don't look any worse for wear, being an extra 2 days. So we're going to do 2 days in the superfine grit before we put it in polish. Yep. Remember this one last time when we thought this was going to be a problem? It's still there. Didn't crack off. Oh my gosh, these have gotten so bloody tiny. I am so bummed about how small these green ones got. I mean, holy cow. The blue one's held the shape. This is another one that's bruised. Goodness, this just fell into nothingness. There's a big divot that came out of that one. That has to get set aside. We may not have enough to move forward. We may have to run. There's a chunk that came out of that one. Yeah, let's set all this aside. There may not be enough to run a barrel. We may have to wait. We may have to go back and take the stones we took out from the earlier batches. Pardon me. Oh, see this cracked off? Excuse me. So let's see how this came off of here. So that's going to have to get run through again. Okay, I will see you back when we're ready to put this through the next stage of polish. See you soon. Okay, so we're back with this leftover calcite, and we're cleaning it off. Oh, very nice. I hope these polish well, but right now we're going to wash them. So I put in a tablespoon of Dreft, and I'm just going to pop these in here. The ceramic and everything. I'm just checking to make sure nothing's bruised as we go through this. I've learned so many lessons off this first trial. Not only first trial of tumbling stones, but of this calcite. I guess it's a more intermediate, not a beginner stone, but I chose it because I have the patience of a gnat. And, I wanted to see something progress faster than a week at a time. So we're doing really nice with this. So I'm going to run a wash cycle for about an hour. I'm going to, rinse it, and if the water doesn't come out clear-ish, I'm going to run it through a second wash cycle. What I want to have happen is have the most perfect grit-free, issue-free product prior to it going into polish, because we don't want, so many things can go wrong in polish that we just don't want any issues, which I'm sure you've heard me and everyone else say. But we're getting there. The workshop's getting created. We're getting, the benches made now. We've got a shelving unit installed. Now I just need to put in a pegboard so I can hang some of these tools and get them off my desk, my bench rather. So my other 3 tumblers came in, and I can't wait to unbox them. But I kind of wanted to get this stuff up and running before I actually opened up the other 3 tumblers. Oh, this is just, I can't wait. Oh, this one broke bad. Oh, a whole big chunk. Can you see that? A whole big chunk came out. That's really disheartening. Okay, it's one less for the polish. Now I separated the ceramic media. We had I have ceramic, small and medium mixed, or small and large mixed. I have the media that went through the coarse and medium stage. I put in a container by itself to be used for whatever else comes down the pike. And now this media that's in here, also large and small, is going to be saved for the for the fine polishes. And I'm going to do the experiment by moving this into the polish stage. So there's the fine grits that this should stay in. And I'm just torn about whether I should go to pellets, the plastic pellets for the polish, but I hear that they don't really work well for, ooh, that's interesting. I think that's a piece, may have broke off something else. Oh my gosh, these are just non-existent tiny. So small. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just going to move this ceramic media along with these stones into polish, or if I'm just going to set them aside and keep them for fine. I don't know. I don't know. Here's that piece that broke off. this green one over here. See, we have that hole. This is the piece that came out of it. See, just broke that corner right off. That's it. There's like nothing. This is another little chip that came off a green one. Here's one that came off the blue. Here's one that came off another green one. Another green one. The good thing is we're not seeing a lot of orange. The orange seems to have retained its original mass more so than these. But then the green and the blue could just be, you know, pure accident. I'm digging these little tiny things out, and I'm saving them. I have a friend at Harmony Healing in Michigan that does a lot of Reiki, and she does a lot of essential oils, and she was asking for some gems to be placed in her roller balls of essential oils. And so I'm keeping these little tiny things. I'm going to run her a batch, and she can do whatever she needs to with them. So nothing is really trash. So let's just see if there's anything else coming through here that I can set aside, because I don't want to put those little tiny chips in this barrel, because I don't want it to continue to bruise and damage the stones that are remaining. I do believe I have them all. See, as soon as you say that, you're going to find one. This is off an orange one. See, little tiny. Don't have a purpose. All right, we're going to wash these and come back in an hour and see if we have to wash them again. All right, see you soon. Okay, it has been 6 days, and we're going to check on our Serape Jasper. We're going to see how it's doing. It's been 6 days in course, the 60-90 grit. Let's see how it's coming along. Whew, that's some red mud in there. Look at that. Still plenty of water. So you can see we're still good there. Look at all this grit though. There's still a lot of grit left. It's just going nowhere. This barrel looks like it's probably way overpacked, because their stones are still really sharp. Nothing's moved. So we're going to do we're going to remove some stones and then continue on with this, because it's not having any, nothing's happening. If you can see this here, we've got, let's pull the light over. See how the grit is all still here? And you see how the edges are all still really sharp? So this barrel was definitely overpacked. So we're going to take out probably 2 big chunks, maybe 3, and then put it back on the tumbler and let it roll for a week and see where we are. Okay, see you soon.